Здравейте, здравейте още веднъж за последно днеска. Виждам, че хората постепенно се включват в вебинара. Надявам се, че тези 2 дни бяха ползотворни и интересни за всички, които се интересуват от образование в Италия. Това, бих казал, е една от най-важните презентации, които Джорджия ще направи. Тя ще ни даде малко повече разяснение за всички изпити, които са необходими за влизане в държавните университети в Италия и съответно възможните подготовки за тях. Джорджия е експерт в тази насока. Самата организацията, която представлява Lingua Viva, имат такава подготовка именно за изпитите за различните изпити в държавните университети в Италия. Надявам се, че и тази презентация ще бъде интересна. Още веднъж да кажа, че всичките презентации са записани, ще бъдат качени в нашия YouTube канал и съответно линкове ще ви изпратиме в последваща имейл с доста подробна информация, която надявам се, че ще ви бъде полезна за крайни срокове, необходими документи и всичко, което ви трябва, за да бъдете успешни кандидат-студенти. Да подсета, че нашата роля, освен да организираме такъв тип събития, е да съдействаме на студентите в целия процес по подготовка на документи, кандидатстване и въобще всичко свързано с успешният им прием в италиански университети. Нашите услуги към студентите за всички партниращи университети са абсолютно безплатни, така че възползвайте се от тях. Моите колеги, които бяха тези 2 дни с вас и голяма част от тях видяхте, са на разположение. Използвам възможността да им благодаря за чудесно организираната програма и за всичко, което направиха тези 2 дни и всичко, което преди това беше нужно за подготовката на тези дни на италианското образование. Още веднъж, колеги, благодаря ви много за това, което направихте. И сега да дам думата на Джорджия, която надявам се също ще бъде толкова интересна, както и на първата презентация. Well, Georgia, it is your turn now.
Yes, hello, buongiorno. So thank you for attending this meeting. There is many of you. I thank you for this attendance at this hour. You must have followed a lot of conferences today about university. So I'm very happy that you're here to follow my conference, which is the last one. I'm sharing my screen right now, which I hope that you can see. And my conference is, of course, you have the plan to study in Italy, and the conference is on how to access Italian universities. So what we will do today, what I'm going to do today with you, is to give you an overview of the various types of exams to attend universities in a little bit more detail. These admission tests are mostly for bachelor degree courses. As you know, for the master degree courses is more an evaluation of your previous academic career. I am Giorgia Biccelli. I belong to the group Lingua Viva. I'm the director of the school Lingua 2 in Milano. Over 30 years, we organize, more than 30 years, we organize preparation courses for students that want to attend Italian universities. So at the end of my presentation, I will also show you the various possibilities to attend our preparatory courses if you want to study at the university. And I will start with the presentation as we don't have that much time and I don't want to keep you too long. So I'll go through it quickly. There are always good reasons to study in Italy. You heard them all through this Saturday and Sunday. Italy has a high level of education, unique cultural environment, reputable universities. Some faculties are very good. a vast range of undergraduate and postgraduate courses. Many Italian universities have very high standing in the world university ranking. And least but not, and also important, you have access to affordable tuition fees. So it is a high quality education, academic education with affordable tuition fees, and you have also a vast range of courses to choose from. As you can see from this map of Italy, we have not noted all the universities, but the main Italy offers really a wide range of studies. I mean, from north to south, in each city there is a university, almost in each city there is a university, there is an Academy of Fine Arts or a music conservatory. So it is very widespread indeed. Approximately 90 universities in the whole of Italy, 45 fine arts academy where you study painting and this stuff, and music conservatories, which are like higher education institution in which you become a professional musician. So as you can see, there is a wide range of educational offer. This is, I did this in the introduction yesterday morning, but I will just repeat it. This is the Italian system. It's a 3+, mainly like all European system, it's a 3+2. So 3 years is the bachelor, 2 years is the master degree. Eventually you can stop at the bachelor degree and take a specializing master. Then there are certain courses, because they're linked also to state exams and to special conditions. So certain courses, we call them one cycle or single cycle master degrees. So this means that you enter the course with your high school diploma and you exit directly with a master. And these courses are like medicine, veterinary, pharmacy, building engineering, architecture, which is a special degree course for architecture, always in Italian, and law studies. They maintain the 6 years. So you access with a high school diploma and you exit practically with a master. The 3+2 is also maintained in all higher education institutions, whether it be academies of fine arts or music conservatories. If you want to do a postgraduate, a PhD, then you need to have completed your 2 years master degree to go on a PhD or a specialization course. To access Italian universities, so to enter the university system, we require at least 12 years of schooling. In Italy, it's 13 years, but we require 12 years of schooling from international students. So this is done very quickly. Now let's go and have a look at the test. So there are 2 types of tests. Basically, to enter Italian university, you always have to take a test. Whether universities tend to want to evaluate the level of knowledge of the students that are enrolling on a specific degree course or on a specific bachelor course. The difference in the test, but there are some differences in this test. On the right hand, you will see degrees with national entrance test with selective admission. So what we call degrees with national selective admission tests, national because they are administered, managed by the Ministry of Education, selective because there are limited number of places. The top, I would say, of this kind of admission test is medicine, like in many countries. So medicine, whether you study in Italian, whether you want to do medicine in English in Italy, which is possible. Someone yesterday was asking this question. You need to take an admission test because there are a limited number of places per each universities, and thus these are screening tests. So this means that if you pass, you go into a ranking, and based on your test results, you are admitted or not admitted, or there are other procedures which I'm not going to go into too many details, okay? So national means that is the Ministry of Education that decides the content of the test, the date when the test will be taking place, because there is one date for the whole country, for this test. Usually they're always paper-based, never online. And you have to go either in a testing center or at the university itself to take the test. And usually it's for the Italian, except Ima, which is in English, and it's slightly different. Then we have degrees with local selective admission test. The local means that it is the university or university bodies which have this function that prepare the test, and the university itself decides how many places they will have for certain degree courses. And then you take the test, which can vary from university to university, not necessarily it's always the same test. And then you will have to take, and then depending on the test results, you will have to take, then you will see if you are successful or not. I've highlighted architecture. The test used to be a national test until 2019. Now it's a hybrid form in the sense that the Ministry of Education still decides the number of places available in each university for architecture, but the test is taken on different dates for each university, and the structure is the same, but the content varies for each university. Design, engineering, economics, psychology, and many others are always subject to an admission test for a specific number of places, which is decided from the university. Then there are also evaluation tests. For example, if you want to study languages, cultural mediation, Italian literature, there is not an entrance and admission test. There is more a test to evaluate certain aspects, your knowledge, your school knowledge. And based on that, you might be asked to take some additional courses on the first year of your studies. For certain degree courses, so there is no limit to the number of places, so everybody can take the test, anybody can pass. Only the university wants to evaluate how much do you know, what is your knowledge, and if this knowledge is suitable for the degree course you have chosen. In case it is not suitable for some areas, then you will need to take some additional courses in the first year. I hope this is clear. The national selective entrance test. So now national entrance selective test, practically it is medicine, veterinary, and professional health science. When I speak of professional health science, I'm talking about like physiotherapy, logopedics, this kind. They still have a national test. So this test, this national selective entrance test, take place usually in September, the first week of September. As I said, the tests are managed, administered, organized by the Ministry of Education, and they always have the same test structure. It's it's paper-based, multiple choice. It is 60 questions with 5 possible answers, and usually the timing is always the same. It's 100 minutes, and the score is always the same. It's maximum 90 points for 60 correct answers. And this is a test which is used, the structure of the test, which is used for medicine, for veterinary, and medical health profession, and it has changed. As you can see here, you see a little bit more details. This is the same structure in case you want to study medicine in English. It's the same structure also of the Ima test. The Ima test is structured exactly as the medicine test in Italian, and it has exactly the same difficulty because both tests are difficult. So you have 12 questions of general culture, 10 question reasoning, 18 question biology, chemistry, math, and physics. So as you can see from the subject, nothing that is, overtly completely different, but it's also based on what you have learned at high school. But if you intend to study medicine and if you intend to succeed, it is of paramount importance that you prepare yourself timely for the test, because it can be, there are also circumstances that make this test at times quite stressful. So Italians usually, if they want to study medicine, they start preparing the test during the few months ahead, or they do special courses, but it's a test in which they usually go prepare, or they prepare on their own, depending, but it's a test in which they usually go prepared. They don't improvise. The same structure, a little bit, the questions are a little bit different if you study vet sciences. Then, as I said, we were talking about the local selective test. So many universities, for their exam, for their admission test, they use increasingly popular this testing system, TOLC. TOLC, Test Online CISIA. It's a group, it's an organization which has been set up by various universities, and they administer online tests for various degree courses. And they're more and more used because it's very practical. The students, especially in these pandemic times, they could take the test from home. So there is a Talk a casa. In normal times, Talk is taken at the university computer, but it's always computer-based. But now the fact that it's always been online has been very convenient because the students could take it from their home. So this means that if you this year enrolled in engineering, I don't know, Bologna, you could have taken the test from your room in Bulgaria or in Sofia. I mean, you did not need to travel to Italy. And as I said, these tests are increasingly popular, and they have, for each type of test, maybe a different structure, and usually always computer-based. So I will show you this one, the Talk I. So now mostly these tests are in Italian language. There are some tests, I think maybe the Talk I and the Talk E for economics, it's also available in English for the degree courses in English at university, at the various universities, but you always need to check exactly if the university will accept a Talk I in English or a Talk E in English, or they will ask for some other evidence. Talk I, it's, we call it in Italian with the Italian pronunciation Talk E, because I is pronounced E, Talk E. It's made of 50 questions divided in 4 sections. It's always math, logic, science, and text comprehension. It is a very versatile test. This test is used a lot for engineering, is one of the top tests, except for Politecnico di Milano and Torino. Almost of the engineering faculties in Italy use this test to apply, if you apply to a bachelor in engineering. It's used for IT science as well, a lot. And believe me, it is used also if you want to study something like physics, chemistry, they use Talk I test. And not all the universities, so it is always better to check what the university will use. But Talk I is used in a vast range of admission tests for different kind of bachelors. You can see the test structure. And based on this test, when we say evaluation, also here, it depends on each university. The university will set a minimum score and will decide whether a minimum score, and depending on what you're going to study and what score you obtain in each section, they will decide if you need to take some additional courses in certain subjects. Usually, as this test is applied for engineering and most scientific subjects, the 2 criteria university look at the preparation that they want really to see is how well prepared the student is in math. And very often, there is always an indication of a minimum score, a general minimum score, but also a minimum score you need to reach, not for all universities, you need to reach in math. And if you don't reach this minimum score, you need to take additional courses. This depends on the bachelor degree you're going to study. But as I said, Talk is one of the most widely used tests for admission. Then you have the Talk E, which is used for economics. Most of the faculties, economics, even political science and international relations. So as you can see, these tests are always very versatile. This test is always computer-based. It's 36 questions, and then you will have logic, text comprehension, mathematics, and then there'll be also an English testing. Most universities, when you take the TLC test, depending on their needs, they also add 30 questions to test your English, usually your English at B1, B2. Of course, if you provide them with a certificate, then this part is not relevant, but usually they always have this part of English testing, so to see what is the level of English. It does not influence the final result of the test, but it's something that is always added. The same scoring system, and each university then decides what is the minimum score, or what is the criteria for a student to have passed the test. Now we come to one of the most loved tests that many people want to know. It's the test Arcade. So as I said, until 2019, the architecture test was paper-based. Whether you were taking the test in Italian or English, it was paper-based. Then in 2020, due to the pandemic, the test changed completely. And as I said before, here we have what I would call a hybrid situation, because each university, this is a selective test, okay? It is a selective screening test. Okay, so this means that the number of places allocated for each bachelor course of architecture, whether in Italian or English, in each university, it's decided by with the university and the Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education also sets the structure of the test. They decide the number of questions and the content, what you need to know or what needs to be tested by this test. And this is the national part. The local part is that the test, each university can decide, maintaining the structure, can decide on the type of on the questions or the content. They can vary the content. So this test now is offered at various dates. Now this year anticipated in July for Politecnico di Milano and Torino, and for UAV. And then some universities for architecture in Italian, they had the test in September. Always the same structure. The test is computer-based. And in the case of Test Arcade, as you read the CISIA Test Arcade, is managed by CISIA. So it is a computer-based. It could be taken from home. Also this year, you have to access a platform and then do certain operations. The only university that uses this structure but uses its own terminal computers and an own developed platform for the architecture test is Torino, the Politecnico of Torino. And that is why their test is called TIL-A, because it has the same structure, same number of questions, same timing, etc. But Torino manages on its own the test. All the other universities, including Politecnico di Milano, have entrusted CISIA for the management of the test. The test is, as you can see, there are various areas. There is general culture, logical reasoning, history, which is vast and vague. It could be art, architecture, or history as in history books, drawing and representation, math, and physics. As it is a computer-based, you also have to answer the question within a certain time. So each session lasts like general culture 15 minutes, logical reasoning 10 minutes. The more time is allowed for history because there are more questions, and then you have 10 minutes for drawing a representation, and 8 minutes for math and physics. It is always a multiple choice, always with 5 options, and only 1 is correct. So all the testing, whether national or local, whether a Tolkien, they maintain this structure, multiple choice with 5 possible answers and only 1 is correct. How is the test scored? How is the test evaluated? It's 1.5 points for each correct answer, a penalty of minus 0.4 if you have a wrong answer, and no 0 points if you have no answer. And the time available is restricted for each section, and this is the architecture test. So this is the architecture test, which is the same whether it's Italian or English. It's always the same structure. Okay. Then often some universities have their own testing system. So for example, I can think of engineering. It's one of the differences. So as I said, there are 37 universities having engineering courses in Italy, and then 35 use, more or less 35 use Talk system, and 2 don't. And these are Politecnico di Milano and Politecnico di Torino. They have their own testing for engineering, and you have it, as you can see it there. It's always on a multiple choice basis, and it's a selective entrance. It is a selective entrance. As you can see, how the things are scored. If you have 60% of correct answer, you will access the course you have chosen. If you have less than that, then you will have you will access your second, third, fourth choice, because when you enroll, when you apply for engineering in both Politecnico, you're always asked to give a choice of engineering bachelor degrees in which you want to be. And then depending on your score, if your score is top, you will have the possibility to access exactly what you want to study. If your score is not enough, then they will tell you where out of the possibilities that you have given, you can start studying. There is also a minimum. So a minimum score that you have to attain, which is which changes. I mean, 60% for Politecnico, but for example, Torino, the minimum changes between EU and non-EU students. So you see 50 out of 100 is the minimum to have passed the test, and 60 out of 100 gives you a guaranteed placement. Of course, also for design, there are differences. So on Saturday, you assisted to, I think, the presentation of IUAV. You have Venice, which is an excellent, really excellent university for design, and they have a different test from what Politecnico di Milano has or Politecnico di Torino has, for example. So I have now brought these 2 examples to show you the difference. So Politecnico di Milano has limited number of places, so it is really selective, and has a test of 60 questions. And as you can see, 60 multiple choice question. It's computer based. Usually you can take it either at the computers of the Politecnico when they were in presence, or this year, as they still had the testing online from home, you could take it from home. General knowledge, geometry and representation, history of art and design, logic, text comprehension, and the test also your English. And if you don't do well in your English, you have to take additional courses. The same Politecnico di Torino has an online testing. As you can see, you have always general knowledge, logic and math, history of art and design, what they call cultura del progetto. So you need to have some knowledge on history of art and history of design. and then text comprehension. So through this test, the university want to assess first your general culture, so how much you know, because it is important to have, it is in Italian education, the mentality to have a wide range of general culture, a wide range of knowledge, which can be on history, which can be on literature, because all this contributes to your studies. Assessing your capability of understanding a passage or understanding the question that is asked. And of course, asking you also some questions on the specific knowledge which the subject requires. I think that I've given you like an overview of all the courses. And as you've seen, there is a variety of different tests which you can take depending on what you study. So when you choose a degree course, it is always important, first of all, to go on the university webpage and to check all the information that is there. But it's always important to look, if available, to the call of admission of the test, because there are the rules of how the admission exam is structured. They tell you everything. At times it's a complicated read, but in there is everything that you need to know. You will find how many places are there for the test, when the test will take place, what is the deadline to apply to the admission test, how to do it. You will find details on how the test is structured. You will find detail on how much time you have, the grading system, the minimum score required, when the test exam is published. So everything you need to know from the beginning to the end is contained in the call to admission, which admittedly, whether you read it in Italian or you read it in English, it is a very difficult read, even for Italians. But it is always good to have a copy because it can be a reference to know what you have to do. Another suggestion that I give you, as you see, we have the 10 things, is always when you approach the idea of studying in Italy, and at times you are to have always a plan A and a plan B, because you might be very successful and enter the ranking, but you might, that day was not your day, maybe score a little bit less, and you need to have a backup solution. So always inquire what you can do. For example, students enrolling at Politecnico di Torino are given the chance to take more admission tests, and then when finally they take, for example, the architecture test, they can decide whether they're going to study to cancel maybe their application to engineering or to urban design, because these are possible tests that you can take. This, of course, in Italian. When you study English, there is not that much choice, but you can still check. So Torino gives you this possibility. Politecnico di Milano, not so much, so does not really give you the possibility to take another type of course, to take the test in another type of course, like, I don't know, engineering, and then do the test arcade, because the tests are really on 2 different dates. And so it is difficult to manage all of them at the same time. But a plan B means also that you can register and take, I don't know, civil engineering in English in Torino, or another type of course, and then try the test also for Politecnico di Milano, and then decide what to do once you have the results out. If you study IMAT, which is a highly competitive study, the plan B must be look at all the possible degree courses in biotechnology, pharmacy, whatever, that maybe you can register to take the test while waiting for the IMAT result, and then see what happens, so that you have a backup, you know, in case, just in case. So this is also an important thought that you should have if you enroll. What we do as Lingua Viva is to offer preparation courses, of course, for the various types of tests, for the various necessities of the students. For example, We have 4 types of different preparation courses. Of course, not everything is suitable for you because you have other needs. Now, this is a general presentation of what we do for all the students worldwide. We have students that can come to us very early in January to prepare their courses. We have students that they can just do online. We have students that can come just in the summer. So this is just an overview, okay? So we organize preparatory courses in medicine in Italian and medicine in English. Veterinary is offered only in Italian. Architecture in both languages, Italian and English. Design, there are only the courses in Italian for design. And engineering, for the time being, we only do Italian. And also fine arts and music for students that want to go to an Academy of Fine Arts or a music conservatory. So we have a foundation, a long-term course. Usually these long-term courses are reserved for students that need to prepare their Italian knowledge, because going to study at an Italian university requires you to have a B2 level of Italian. And this level, if you are an EU student, is not tested, but you have to prove that you know Italian. So you have to bring a certification. Non-EU students need to take a test, and it's a B2 level of Italian. So in this long course of 31 weeks or 26 weeks, so 6 months or almost 8 months that we offer in Florence and 6 months in Milano, the first part of the course is dedicated to teach the students from scratch Italian, to bring them to the level required, and at the same time to introduce some of the subjects they're going to look more specifically when they do the preparation courses then between springtime and summer. This year we had to anticipate a lot in Milano, especially for the architecture courses. So we had to end our courses here in July instead of August, because all the exams this year at Politecnico took place in July, and many universities are following this path, but only Politecnico di Milano had it in July, and not always had the possibility of for students to take the test also in August. So this is why we anticipated a little bit our courses. So this is a long-term program, which maybe is not suitable for you because you're still at school, so you are unable to come in January. Then we have a summer program, which is always like almost 3 months. With the initial part, we prepare students to the Italian language test. Not all of you will take it, but some students need to. The Italian language test, which takes place at the university and which this year was quite difficult, quite demanding and quite difficult. And then the second part of the course is dedicated to prepare the students to the specific subject depending on where to study. So as I said before, in Florence, we prepare students for medical studies in Italian. When I say medical studies, I include medicine, veterinary, pharmacy, can be biotechnology. They share a lot the same subjects for their test. So we have this 3 months course in Florence, and then we have these courses 10 weeks in Milano, but they start in May. Some of you might be, as I said, not everything is suitable for everybody. So this is for the students that of course can come in May and have ended their schooling, their school education. Then we have some short programs. So this is that we offer in Milano in Italian, and we have to start them at the end of May for Italian, and because we have to finish them in July, the 6 weeks program. For this is the Italian for engineering, because this year the engineering program, the date was the 6th of July until I think the end of July, so it was a bit difficult. And then we have, this is the preparation for the English, so architecture in English and medicine in English. We have, don't take me for crazy, we have a short preparation, but you will see why in the next slide. So we have a short preparation that goes 4 weeks, that goes from the 27th of June to the 22nd of July, practically the weekend before your test. And this is a quick review of all the subjects that come into the test. And this is really thought for the students also that take the online, I will show you in the next slide, the online course, then they can do a recap with this. Or students that are already prepared and they want to review quite quickly what comes into the test. Whereas for the IMAT student, we offer in presence a course which starts in July, ends in August, and it's 6 weeks, and then you review and you exercise a lot. Math, physics, biology, chemistry, etc. And this is in presence, and it's a good stretch of time. 6 weeks it's okay to prepare for the test. Then we have as well the possibility of attending online courses. So during the year, you are not able to come. You know, you would like to start preparing. It's not possible to travel for many reasons. We have an architecture in English preparation that runs from the 7th of March till the 24th of June. And then again, a preparation for IMAT students who are not able to come that starts in April and ends in August. It's a long stretch preparation. It's long stretch because usually it's always in evening, like an evening course. So after your school, after your activities, you can take this course, connect, and learn, and it's at a slower pace. It's at a slower pace. So these are all the courses we offer. I thank you for your attention, and I think that we can start answering questions because I see that there are a lot of questions.
Yes, Georgia, there are quite a lot of questions. I'll start them one by one. I'll read it to you, and I'll translate the ones that are in Bulgarian so that you can answer. And to everyone, if there are some questions that are not answered or you have additional, please keep on writing. So the first question is from Alexander. Is the test architecture divided into sections with a corresponding time for every single one?
Yes, as I said, yes.
Okay.
Yes. If you go back to the slide, this is exactly what I said. You will take it, you will take it online, and I will reopen the sharing screen. You will take it online, and yes, so you have to move on. When the 15 minutes are finished, you have to move on.
Okay, the next question is from where I can find some a sample test from previous years or other tests that they can work on to prepare for Politecnico di Milano for architecture.
Which test?
The sample
there
test
is very
from
little
previous.
Online. Very little online.
Yeah,
very little.
That's what they're asking.
For English, there is almost nothing. So you will have this. It's possible on the internet. You will have the sample test of the paper-based test. There is something, but it's dated like 2012 or something. But just to give you an idea, but it does not correspond to the actual test. So for the test arcade, I have a sample for the Italian test because CISIA has published one, but no, I'm not even sure that they've published a test arcade. But for the architecture with the new version, the new format, there is nothing.
I have 4 tests and I can share with everyone, but then the new ones, Georgia, if you have additional somewhere 2020, 2021, that will be great.
No, for architecture, there's not possible.
Okay.
As I said.
So I can share the other test which we have.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one, from where we can find textbook or materials to prepare for architecture for Politecnico di Milano.
In English or Italian?
They didn't specify.
Okay.
But,
in Italian, there is now alleged, it's called Alpha Test. And these are books which all the Italian students use to prepare all kinds of university tests. They have medicine, but it's also all in Italian. In English, practically there is nothing. I can suggest an art history book, which is called Barron. It's the preparation. So for example, can you see my screen? This is alpha test. So this is, I don't know if you can see it.
No? It's a
No?
little bit unclear. Just
Okay.
keep it on one place and then, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
keep it like this.
Okay.
No, not really. You can make you can make a picture and send it to us and we can share.
Yeah, okay. But it's alpha test, and for the English there is Barron. Barron, it's an American edition, it's an American publisher, and they have books on different kind of subjects for AP preparation, which is the higher education exam in America, and they have an art history book, the Barrons, which is very good. So to prepare art history, Barron is very good. You could prepare also math and physics with the Barron, also biology with this AP, but there is not a specific, there is not a specific test altogether with all the questions and everything to prepare English. So what we do in the course, we use our own material. So we use Barron for art history, and then the teachers have their slides and material. And also we have for drawing and visualization our own material in English, which does not exist in at least not yet. For IMAT, the alpha test has books to prepare IMAT in English. Unfortunately, the explanations are all in Italian. The questions are in English, but then when they explain the answers and stuff, it's in Italian, so it's a little bit difficult. Also, in this case, we use it because there are a lot of questions that can be used, but then the teachers have slides, and we work a lot with our own material.
Okay. The next question is from Maria Metin. She's asking from where they can get preparation for civil engineering in English for Politecnico di Milano. How to get the preparation? Or, yeah.
Well, how to get the preparatory courses? We are happy to organize if we have a minimum number of civil engineering in Italian or engineering in Italian, and so it is possible. As it is so early, I mean, this year it was, I think it was in July. I'm not sure whether they had also a date in August. I don't think so. They had a date in August for design, but I don't think for engineering. Well, it is possible to do engineering in English. We can do it. I mean, we know what's doing the Italian. We know what's in there, as long as we have a minimum number of students enrolled, and then it's possible to offer also this course.
Yeah, but they're asking actually for the one in English.
Yeah, I'm talking about the one in English.
Okay, sorry. Okay. The next one is about IMAT medicine test. How can you prepare successfully to pass the IMAT medicine test? Is there enough preparation for IMAT and then successfully pass non-IMAT university test? Is there any advices for med university ordering? How the rolling admission is working?
This is a long question. This is a very long question.
Yeah, so, it is.
For the IMAT preparation, start early to prepare for the IMAT. The IMAT is highly competitive. We do the preparatory courses because we show you how to answer the questions, but it is important to start early. How to apply to the IMAT test? The IMAT is all national tests have a day in which you apply. Usually it's July. Between July, there are 3 weeks. You have to go on a website called Universitali, but all this is then cleared in the call to admission, as I said, when the time comes to apply for the test. It's part of this bureaucratic procedure. Of course, when students study with us, we help them with all the bureaucracy linked to the application of the test. And then the third part, I cannot remember.
Okay, the next question is...
yeah, I asked three things.
The next question is about our architecture test. When is it taking place?
The architecture test this year took place on 2 days. So it is not always a fixed date. You know, the calendar changes from year to year. So, but this year, the 27th of July was architecture in English and Italian in Torino. 28th of July was architecture in English and Italian in Milano. 29th of July was architecture in Italian in UAV, and so on. So at the end of July, and we presume that next year it will be the same, but we don't have yet the dates of 2022.
Okay.
Excuse me, just to elaborate a little bit on the question for the civil engineering. Is it possible the students to take part of the preparatory course for the architecture in order to...
Yeah, they can, but they have to, depending on what they're going to study, they need to have more math and more, so if they take the test in Torino, they need to have also chemistry because there are some science questions in the Torino. And if they take the test in Milano, they need to have more math and physics. So they can share, they can enroll, and then we'll give them additional math lessons because they need to have more math.
So let's say if
more math
the
and
course...
more physics for the engineering.
I see. So if the course this year is in presence in Milan, they can enroll.
We offer both, but you see the course in presence in Milano for the architecture, so that is why we have to organize it separately, has different dates because it is based on the fact that the test of architecture is at the end of July, that some of the test of engineering is at the beginning of July. So we have to do it before.
I see.
They have to do it on I would suggest online.
All right.
Okay, so we have to check when the test dates are because the students must have finished the preparation between on the online. And then we have to check exactly when the test dates are and if the students can come. Having anticipated so much the test in July, so it was on the 6th and then mid-July, some of the students can come because in June they have their high school. So it must be done online. So this is also an important issue. So they can join willingly the online and then we can, but this maybe we can discuss separately.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so let's go on with questions. Yeah, you're welcome.
The next one is, what about the GRE for architecture? What methods would you recommend to prepare for the exam and how much time should we spend on preparing and learning?
The GRE?
GRE.
For architecture test?
I don't know what they mean exactly.
I'm not sure I understand because they want to do a master degree in architecture. So if we're talking about the test arcade and the A test, math, physics, I think you do in high school and you should be prepared, you exercise, you are architects, you need to know your physics. I mean, I think it's always very strange when students come and say, I don't know physics and, you know, I cannot. As an architect, you should need...
There is no GRE test for the architecture. So
no.
No.
Yeah. Sorry for interrupt. I can see that Rainy just wrote that she's interested in the master program.
Yeah,
so
the master program is different. Although, so the master program, it's a different issue. I'm talking about now the bachelor degrees. So how much time to take for the GRE? This you have to see because the GRE I think is a more general test than just a specific test for architecture. Okay, so the next question.
For drawing and visual preparation, we need to make a portfolio or something else, asking for Politecnico di Milano architecture.
No portfolio. It's always multiple choice questions on the theory of technical drawing. So shades, how you draw a solid, it's geometry, Euclidean geometry, if you know what I mean. And of course, you know, you will given a map, a section, an orthogonal projection. So this kind of thing. So you will have an illustration with questions pertaining to the picture that you see. So what we are doing in drawing a representation is not drawing, sorry to say, nice pictures of houses or projects, but it's geometry, it's technical drawing, and it's questions on, you know, you see I don't know, a map of a church, you have to recognize what kind, what epoch, what style, or you see a map of the house, you have to know what kind of house that is. This is something that we teach. And it's something actually that students do very well, better than history of art, strange enough, because it's so technical and there is not, you know, once you have understood it, it's there. Usually students do very well in scoring, in drawing and representation questions.
Okay.
So you don't need for the test to do any portfolio.
Okay, the next question is, can we take the architecture test multiple times until we are satisfied with our results?
No. No, the test is taken on one date. And if you're not satisfied with the results, it's the university that needs to be satisfied with the result and you need to be in the ranking.
Okay, the next one is, where can I find Talk E from previous years?
You have to go on the CISIA website. If you register on the CISIA website, you know, and you do the registration, they have an exercise. I think there is also the possibility to exercise and to check also they don't give you the previous editions of Talkie. They give you a sample, but you're able to take some online exercises on the CISIA, so the Talk-I, CISIA online website, but you have to register to access.
Okay, the next one, I'll be preparing for the admission test for medicine university in Bulgaria, but will that help me in some way from taking the IMAT exam?
I don't know how difficult the test, the medicine test in Bulgaria is. I can give you some figures for the IMAT so that you understand what we mean by screening, okay? So this year, there were approximately, for IMAT is medicine in English. Medicine in English is offered in 14 universities in Italy. So this year they increased the number of places to 659 places all over Italy. You need to know that an average Italian student, as I said yesterday in the introduction, when they study medicine, because medicine is really the king of all the tests, they enroll to anything pertaining medicine, you know, just as long as they can get in. So an Italian student will do the medicine in Italian, the medicine in English, the private university test, whatever, to see where he can find a placement. So this year, for the 659 places, 5,000 people were registered. Only for the English. Then now there are the ranking in these days. So now the results are out. There are the ranking. A lot of people are not enrolling because they've got their placement on the Italian. So the ranking, they change dramatically. The test is a screening test and is not an easy test. At times, it could be slightly easier one year, more difficult the second year. To have a look, to help you out, go to the Cambridge Assessment website, because they are the ones entrusted by the Ministry of Education of University in Italy to prepare the test. On the Cambridge Assessment website, you will find all the samples of all the IMAT tests from 2010 or 11 when it was introduced till today. The English publish everything. So there you can see the level, and then you can judge if preparing for the, I'm sure that the preparation helps, but you need to check also what it requires then to pass the IMAT.
Okay, we go to the next one. What is the minimum score in order to pass the architecture test?
There is no minimum score.
More or less, just like an average.
So this year, I would say it depends. Milano, depending, you know, Milano has 2 campuses. So some of the students managed to enter with 28, is it 60? Yeah, 28, 60, so 28 out of 60. I would say 31, 32. My advice is to score 35. With 35 is the minimum that will give you the safety to be admitted, if not in the first ranking, in the second ranking. Campus Leonardo, less than 40, you're not admitted. Campus Piacenza, with 35, you stand a good chance. Torino, Torino was very generous this year, I must say. Torino published their, because it's a ranking, remember, so it is published at the beginning of August. No, yes. It is published in August, and then every week or every 2 weeks it is updated. So not everybody enrolls. So this update means that every week you have to always to check the result, because the minimum gets lower, lower, lower. So for example, in the last ranking of Torino, which took place in September, I had students that took architecture, and the last score was 20, they got in with, no, 30. They stopped at 30. So my student took 31, and he managed with the last rank, scrolling of the rank, to enroll in Torino. So with Milano, which closes the enrollment much earlier, some students managed to get in with also with 30, 20, 30, I would say it is the minimum. But then they get in Campus Piacenza, which is the second campus that offers architecture in English for students. The number this year was, they had 60 places and something like 200 students applied. Okay. 200, 300 students applied. I have it. It's quite something. Okay.
Okay, let's go to the next one. For architecture universities, are they considering full IB program from high school?
This to enroll, to apply,
yeah, to enroll,
yes, apply. Of course. You can apply with your high school, you can apply with any kind of high school diploma, but you need, oh, sorry, I don't know why I've meant, but you need to check. You always need to check when you have the IB, for example, if you have an IB high school diploma, check on this course, because there are requirements. Now, right now, I cannot remember by heart, but you need to have a certain score in certain areas, and it must be 12 years and not 11 years. The same if you apply with A-level. You cannot apply with any A-level. You need to have 3 A-level. It must be scientific subject. So it is important that when you decide to apply to architecture in English, and you possess an A-level or a GCE or an IB, to check the requirements. Politecnico di Torino have a very specific, very clear indication on their website, and so does Politecnico di Milano, because it is not only sufficient to have an IB, you need to have certain scores, you need to have studied certain subjects.
Okay, next one. Okay. Does the high school diploma marks matter?
The high school diploma marks does not matter in the scoring of the test, but they are asked when you apply for the test. It's very strange, but this is always asked. When you apply, they look at, they ask you what was your high school score, a score that you have attained, and this is always the scores that you have obtained in the ranking.
Okay, the next one is to recommend books for history of arts and design part, preparation books.
I answered this question before. If you're preparing in Italian, I recommend Alpha Test. If you're preparing in English for design, there is not if you're preparing Italian Alpha Test, there is an Alpha Test for architecture, there's an Alpha Test for design to prepare for Italian. If you are doing in English, as I said, for art history, there is the Baron, and then which is English for admin. Are there any other questions? Or
yeah, there are plenty.
It's never ending.
Okay. Not ending.
Yes,
yeah.
Sorry.
For the admission exam, I saw that there is an English knowledge part, but if I want to study in Italian third program, what is the situation? Does the score changes? Am I supposed to do an Italian knowledge part, even if I have a proof of my Italian level?
So you are talking about architecture, not general. You have a bilingual school, and you don't have to take any any test. You don't have to take any Italian test. If you're studying in a bilingual school, you just need to show your high school diploma, and then I think that I've seen that some students have a declaration of what they've studied when you have a double, when they study in a bilingual school. Otherwise, the official certifications help, like Plida, Cils, Celi, if you study in Italian. But you, as a EU student, don't take tests. It's non-EU students that take an Italian language test, and it's a tough one.
Okay, there are some questions about
considering the English and
sorry.
Okay, and considering the English, all Italians are tested on their English level. So you would be tested as well because you do the same test as the Italian. The English test results in any of those exam tests does not influence your ranking. It just gives an idea to the university whether you have to take some courses to reach a B1 level of English during the year. Yes?
Georgia, one question here, because obviously the students didn't understand. You do offer preparatory courses in English, isn't it?
Yes, we do offer preparatory courses in English for architecture and IMAT, online and in presence.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Is the IELTS required for medical school, given that the IMAT is made by Cambridge?
When you apply
yeah,
for the IMAT, you have to post your I think when you apply for the IMAT test, they ask you, but I think it's optional that you show your language test, and whether it's IELTS or TOEFL or Cambridge, it doesn't matter. It's an official certification of the language. The university might require it, yeah. I'm not sure why I cannot share my screen anymore.
Okay, some of the questions you already answered. So yeah, I'm just trying to read and to summarize.
Some of you, oh, sorry. Some of you have asked me very specific question on what we do, the history program, the physics program for architecture, etc. This is always contained in the call to admission. So I cannot tell you here, what specifically do you need to study for physics, or what specifically do you need to study for math. In the call to admission, which you will find easily on the websites of the universities, you will find a part in which they give indications on what is asked. And it's a common high school math, high school math program, or high school physics program that you study. I mean, it's so this is it. And someone was asking about history, what part of world history. When we talk about historical facts, the university says that they want to see if the student is capable of relating, and that's why we study also art history, chronology, so the timeline, you know, what happened when in art, in society, etc. So this is more or less the type of questions. Then the type of question which are asked in the test mostly are related, at times are related to European history, at times are related to Italian history, which you do not necessarily know, so you can just skip them. And many are history of the 19th, 20th century. Does Politecnico di Milano offer student accommodation? That was a good question, which would have asked yesterday to Politecnico during their presentation. Yes, they do. Okay, so I hope I've answered all the questions. I don't know if you will have also possibility to do some private meetings, Zoom meeting. I'm happy to go through this huge, there is a lot to say about admission tests and all different things. I'm happy to meet you also individually. And as I remind you, we are quite experienced because we do these preparation courses since over 30 years. We place students and for the Italian course and even for the English course, they work with Politecnico. So at Politecnico, so we are experienced on the type of questions and the type of test that you have to do. And for those students wanting to take the IMAT next year, my recommendation is if you're at school, start looking, you know, if you can buy a biology AP or a chemistry, because I think this is those Baron's books can be of help. And, you know, put in, calculate that you need to prepare yourself. Don't think that just taking 6 weeks of our course, you know, you'll pass all the tests of the world. I mean, we have to be realistic. 6 weeks of our course gives you, for example, for the IMAT, gives you the skills, the knowledge of the test, which is already something very, very important. You know, we do timing, we have no obscure to you. This is something that you have to cut. Okay, so if I don't know if there are any more questions that maybe we can.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, Lilia, of course, yeah, we can answer questions until 9 o'clock in the evening, but we need to stop somewhere because Georgia has other things to do. And I would like to thank you very much, Georgia, for your participation. That's what we're going to do. We will offer the students in the follow-up email that we're going to send. We will answer most of these questions because there are questions about the preparatory courses, about accommodation and this kind of stuff that we will obviously answer these questions. But that's what we're going to do. We will see when you have free time in order to organize some one-on-one meetings with students.
I'm happy to answer from November onwards.
Of course, of course. Well, that's why. Thank you once again for.
Yeah, thank you to all of you. Thank you for attending. Still 50 people at this time after the whole morning. It is it is amazing. So thank you, Skylines, for this opportunity, and thank to all the participants for being so lively and so many questions. And I hope it was useful. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant Sunday.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Благодаря на всички за участието. Yeah, Georgia, you can stop.
Wait, I have to. Yeah, I can stop. Okay, thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.